Hi there, Terry back again. Hope I find you well, and welcome to my 61st video. Yes, you have been punished that much. Time for more Wonder Woman, and due to no cover dates on 24 and 25, I missed them from part 2, and they are both classed as December 1988. So part 3 is going to be a little longer, but as I mentioned, we start with number 24, December 88. And the cover and writing pencils are still by George Perez, and the inking by Will Blyberg, and the colours by Carl Gafford, in a story they called Combat Zone. All action cover, but no trivia, you'll be glad to know. And then again, 25, December 28. And this was a crossover with Invasion, and then it was running through most of the ongoing DC titles at the time. This cover's by George Perez, of course, but he shares the writing with Keith Giffen and J.M.D. Matius. Pencils are by Chris Marinan and the inks by Will Blyberg. Colours Petra Scutes, and the title was The Burning School. Co-starred the Justice League International, and the story takes place between issues 1 and 2 of the 3-issue Invasion event. Right, we're up to 1989 now. Number 26, January 89. Cover George Perez. Another crossover with Invasion, and this time the aftermath between issues 2 and 3. Titled The Immortal Storm, written by George Perez, Keith Giffen and Carrie Bates. Pencils by Chris Marinan, inks by Will Blyberg, and colours again by Carl Gafford. And in this issue was a 16-page bonus book. Contains a story before Wonder Woman's birth. It was called Wings and Arrows. It was written by Tom Joyner, pencils by Neil Vokes, inks by Fred Butler, and the colours by Matt Webb. And I have an arrow on my paperwork, so I'm assuming I'm going to tell you some trivia. Oh no, that is it. And as I put here now, back to some semblance of normality. Number 29, number 27 even, February 89, cover date George Perez, cover and writing. A tale called From Day into Night. Pencils by Chris Marinan, inks by Will Blyberg, colours by Carl Gafford. And this is quite a sombre cover from the previous few, but no trivia. Now we have number 28, March, and George Perez covers and writing again. And I think you can guess by the cover who is back. And in this issue we also have Cheetah's origin, and this tale was called Jungle Sacrament. Pencils by put my teeth in. Pencils again by Chris Marinan, inks Will Blyberg, colours Carl Gafford. And this issue also confirms Wonder Woman joining on a part-time basis the Justice League International. Another Cheetah cover, very bloody. Again, another lovely cover by George Perez. He also still does the writing, and the issue number 29, April cover date. The title was Blood Vine. Same art team, Chris, Will and Carl, and this issue features the Amazons of Bama Migdal, who appear off and on through the other volumes of Wonder Woman. Also the first appearance of Queen Anahid. More of her in issue 31. But we have issue 30, May 89. Cover and writing by George Perez. A real pull-up cover, this one. To Live by the Sword, this is called. And Chris, Will and Carl still the artists. Wonder Woman and Cheetah at it again on the cover. In June 89. You Knew It. George Perez cover. And also the writing. The usual artists, and they're telling the tale of the Savage Moon. And the trivia for 31, as I mentioned, the one in number 29, well, spoilers, but you guessed it, Queen Anahid dies. Bit of a change with number 32, July 89. Still George, cover and writing. The art of Meanwhile. The title is from Tom Grummett penciling, Steve Montano inking, Carl Stool colouring though. Our old compendium of characters there. Number 33, August, cover by Chris Marinan and George Perez. And the title is Secrets in the Sand. This is back to the usual George writing, Chris, Will and Carl art, and I won't mention any first appearances because they don't last long in this issue, most of the time. Then we have number 34, September cover date. Cover again by Chris and George. And the story, The Tournament of the Crown. George writing, Chris, Will and Carl on the art. Then we have an annual, the second annual in the series, September 89 cover date, cover by George Perez and Julia Lacriment. The main title is The Game of the Name. And yes, that's correct, The Game of the Name. Does sound peculiar. Introduces 8 tales about Mayer publicists. The company run by Mindy Mayer, who died back in issue number 20. And these stories are ending the contract between them and Wonder Woman. So they no longer owning contracts or licensing agreements. All stories are written by George, with many artists, too many to mention, or this video will be even longer than it already is. I think you can read most of them on the cover anyway. Yeah. Then we have number 35. I'm to the end now with the October cover date. Chris Marinan and George Perez doing the cover. The story is called Journey's End. George did the writing, and Chris and Carl the pencils and colours. But we have Steve Montano doing the inking. Number 36, again by Chris and George, the cover. And writing this time with George, he is joined, who will join him for roughly a dozen issues, Mindy Newell. And she provides the dialogue and the panel breakdowns over George's plots. This issue, aptly titled Changes in the Wind. Art by Chris, Steve and Carl. And the last issue in this part, number 37, December cover date. Cover by Chris and George again. George and Mindy writing, Strangers in Paradise. Art by Chris, Steve and Carl. And that is it for 1989. If you haven't already, please subscribe, thumbs up, comment. I love commenting on comments, so please comment. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.